This production is brought to you by Ancient Origins, reconstructing the story of humanity's past, and the YouTube channel, The Study of Antiquity and the Middle Ages. The Amorites, Bronze Age invaders who united an empire. Written by Jason Jarrell and Sarah Farmer. Narrated by D.W. Draffin. Sometime during the 3rd millennium BCE, a group of nomadic raiders expanded out of their mountainous homelands in Syria and stormed Mesopotamia. They were known as the Martu, or Tidnum, to the Sumerians, and the Amar to the Egyptians. These names denote of the West, or the Western people. In the book of Genesis, chapter 10, verse 16, these people are referred to as the Amorites, descendants of Canaan. The scriptures also state that the Amorites had gigantic chiefs and warriors among them. Amos 2:9 compares the size and strength of the Amorites to the cedar tree, while in Numbers 32:29-32, the Amorites are among the peoples of great stature encountered by the Israelite spies. The Amorite chief Og is described in Deuteronomy 3:11 as of the remnant of giants. In Akkadian, both the Amorites and Syria itself were named after Amurru, a deity of the Amorites. Amurru is also known as Belu Sadi, or Lord of the Mountains, while his divine consort Belit-Seri was Lady of the Desert. Jebel Bishri tombs of Amorite kings. The Martu are mentioned in a tablet from Tel Farah, dated to around 2550 BCE. Mardu, appears on the 24th century BCE Ebla tablets as a name for both a geographic region as well as its inhabitants. According to Lundqvist, 2008, some scholars have specifically identified the Amorite homeland with Jebel Bishri, a mountain region situated between Palmyra and the Euphrates River. Similarly, Michael Astor, 1992, has also traced Marduk-ki, the Amorite homeland in the Ebla tablets, to Jebel Bishri. The Mari texts make it clear that during the Bronze Age, Jebel Bishri was the territory of at least two Amorite tribes, the Sutaeans and the Yamanites. There are more than 400 stone burial mounds, or cairns, on the northern and western slopes of Jebel Bishri. The mound fields were generational burial places of the Amorites, and several were utilized for many centuries. For example, Ristvet, 2015, found the use of the Tor Rahum cairns has been dated to between 1900 and 1600 BCE. According to Silver, 2014, the tumuli of Jebel Bishri frequently cover stone ring walls surrounding stone burial cists, which contain the remains of dead Amorite chiefs. At Tel Banat in northern Syria, an Amorite occupation dating to between 2450 and 2000 BCE produced an extraordinary tumulus known as the White Monument, measuring 100 meters, 328 feet, in diameter and 20 meters, 65.61 feet, high. The outer layer of the White Monument was originally stepped like a Mesopotamian ziggurat. Excavations have revealed that use of the site began with several mounds of stone and earth containing human burials, animal bones, and pottery, after which a single, larger tumulus was built to cover the smaller monuments between 2600 and 2450 BCE. Finally, the outer stepped layer was raised overall by 2300 BCE. Amorite invasions. By the Middle Bronze Age, circa 2300 to 2000 BCE, the Amorites had invaded the Levant and Middle Euphrates region. Garfinkel, 2007, described tombs of this period that contain what have become known as warrior burials, as defined by a particular assemblage of grave goods including distinctive pottery, javelins, daggers, axes, and spearheads. The Amorites spread from the Levant into Arabia via the Middle Euphrates, where they developed into a multitude of tribal groups with polities and networks that maintained an interrelated web between their people in the region. Christine Kapinski, 2010, explains the dynamic changes this new people heralded in the region. The Amorites infiltrated progressively into both the Mesopotamian towns and those of the Gulf. In the 22nd century BCE, Magan was directed by a figure with an Amorite name. Later, it was another Amorite who reigned over Failaka and the land of Bahrain, and Amorite proper names are frequent there at the beginning of the second millennium. Between 2100 and 1800 BCE, the Amorite invaders constructed mounds in the Middle Euphrates containing the same artifacts found with the warrior burials of the Levant noted earlier. The expansions of the Amorites from their western abode eventually prompted King Shulgi of the third dynasty of Ur to construct a massive wall, 185 kilometers, 155 miles, long, to repel their advances, known as Murik Tidnim, repeller of the Tidnum. The wall stretched between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Amorites simply maneuvered around the wall and invaded Sumer, taking Babylon by 1984 BCE and the city of Ur around 1800 to 1750 BCE, ascending the thrones of power throughout Mesopotamia. As elaborated by Ackermans and Schwartz, 2003, it is clear that many Amorite individuals functioned successfully within southern Mesopotamian society, sometimes operating at the highest political levels. After the collapse of the Ur kingship and the early Bronze polities in Syria, we find Amorite rulers in place from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. Code of Hammurabi. That the new Amorite elites were genetically related is apparent by the fact that rulers in Mesopotamia with Amorite names acknowledged their common heritage. This included King Hammurabi of Babylon, who claimed common ancestry between himself and King Shamse-Adad of northern Mesopotamia. When King Sin-Muballit abdicated the throne of Babylon in 1793 BCE, his son Amurru, also known as Hammurabi in Akkadian, ascended to rule. Joshua Mark, 2011, opines it was this king who united all the lands from the Persian Gulf to Syria under one rule to create the true kingdom of Babylon, or Babylonia. Hammurabi established a new legal code, which incorporated presumption of innocence until proof of guilt and the ability of the accused to present evidence in his favor. He claimed the code came down to him from the god Shamash. Thus, this Amorite king was a steward of a legal concept that went on to become one of the most cherished tenets of Western civilization. The code also established lex talionis, or an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and a minimum wage for workers. Although the code retained Babylonian social classes and included absolutely gruesome forms of punishment, its 282 laws have been considered an ancient form or precursor of constitutional government. Hammurabi stated that the purpose of the code was to make justice visible in the land, to destroy the wicked person and the evildoer, that the strong might not injure the weak. The nomadic expansion of a particular remarkable people from the highlands of Syria to southern Mesopotamia during the 3rd and 2nd millennium BCE is a story of essentially invading and transforming an empire and the transformation of invaders into rulers and lawgivers. The history of classic Babylonia and the influence of the law of Hammurabi are testaments to their legacy. The Amorites also had profound impacts upon Mesopotamian mythology, religion, and burial practices.
Ancient Origins specializes in reconstructing the story of humanity's past. And honestly, for those of you who love anything ancient, mysterious, and the unexplained, it's the best resource online for you, providing a variety of content. But more importantly, it's helping us understand the subjects that we all love. From the fringe to the mainstream, you get the best of everything. But if you want access to even greater content, I highly suggest you becoming a premium member to Ancient Origins. And for those of you who may ask, okay, why? I have an answer for you. One, it is a treasure trove of information. It gives you even more access to the subjects that you love. From ebooks, webinars, expeditions, even more articles, but in some cases, you get to talk to the experts themselves. And by being a subscriber to Ancient Origins, you are continuing to help them make history matter. Ancient Origins literally has something for everyone. So, before we get to the presentation, check out the links in the video description below. I'm going to provide you with a variety of references to Ancient Origins from their Facebook page and other social media outlets to the very heart of the Ancient Origins website itself to help people like me and you better understand the subjects of history, mystery, and the unexplained that we all love.